Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. If this is your first episode, you picked a great one. We've got a couple of guys on today that have started an app that's a faith-based app around positive content. I'm so excited to share this interview with you guys because their names are Gerald Jones, Kevin Clark. They've been friends and business partners for 20 years. They're going to talk about how they met, the path they followed to get where they got now, which, as usual here on Salty Ginger Talk, is filled with challenges, filled with obstacles they had to overcome, filled with try, fail, try, succeed. And then they're going to talk a lot about their app, what motivated them to start it, how it works, and why it would be a great thing for you to incorporate into your life. So this is one of the few times that we're going to encourage you to participate more in social media because their app is called Blessin'. It's a faith-based positive content app, and it's super, super cool. We're really excited to bring it to you. So without further ado, let's bring Kevin and Gerald on right now.
All right.
So, Gerald and Kevin, welcome to Salty Ginger Talk. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, man.
For having us.
Yeah. So, Kevin and I had a great conversation I guess it was about a week ago, and been super interested to bring you guys on because we're going to talk about your backstory and kind of the how you got to where you're at. But I want to spend a lot of time talking about your app as well, because I love what motivated you guys to start working on this and offer it out to the world. And I want you to spend a lot of time kind of talking about that, talking about the interactions you've had with people, et cetera, because I think it's so important with the world, kind of the vibe that's out in the world today. It's very easy for people to be pulled in negative directions and focus on negative things. And you guys are doing the exact opposite of that with the exact opposite intention. And I'm so excited to talk about that. So with all that said, what we do on Salty Ginger Talk, the whole point of our podcast is to try to encourage people to live a life of meaning and purpose. They need to decide what has meaning and purpose to them. It's not our place to tell you what should have meaning or purpose to you. I do caveat that with saying that generally, if you're chasing material things, you're focused on the wrong things. I've had a lot of money. I've been broke. I've had really nice cars. I've had cars I've had to push. The material things don't make the difference in your life. It's the relationships and the experiences that you have in life that are going to make you feel happy, make you feel purpose, and make you feel contentment. So that's the way we think about it. We're trying to encourage people to do that. The way we do it is having guys like you come on, tell your story about where you started, how you worked your way through life and got to the point you're at now, and what you learned through all those experiences. And we don't do the Instagram version of life on Salty Ginger Talk. We got it. That's a cool beach. I love the private plane ride, blah, blah, blah. That's not your real life. Let's talk about when it was shitty. Let's talk about when it was hard. Let's talk about what you learned from that. I share my, look, the good news is I've got endless amounts of content from my perspective because I have fucked up so many things in my life, and I'm okay talking about those things. I've also got a lot of stuff right. Been married to my wife for 32 years, raised 3 good boys, blah, blah, blah. So that's it. That's the whole point of what we do. With that said, I will turn it over to you guys. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of high level, and we can talk about some of the big learnings you got going through life, and then we'll spend a lot of time talking about your app.
Sounds great, man. Yeah. So Gerald and I have been friends for over 20 years. We met backstage at the Academy Awards 3 years ago, and we can talk about that later as well. And we've essentially been serial entrepreneurs since. And to your point of what you literally just said, we've had the ups and downs. We've crashed and burned in spectacular and funny ways. And we've also succeeded. And, we're in the process of succeeding again with this app. I think when he and I are, grabbing ourselves a dinner after a long day talking, often we do bring up and laugh about the times we crashed and burned. Those are the fun stories. So you got to have it all, to your point, Yeah,
and I love what you said. It's about the experiences in life. And it's very fortunate that I found a business partner who enjoys going through those experiences. I think it's kind of like trauma bonding because we've been through so many ups and downs. We've had these really, like Kevin was saying, spectacular crashes. We'll report our heart and our money and all of our time into a project, and then it just failed. And while you're going through it, of course, you're like, why is this happening to me? So it's really good to have somebody who's like by your side, who's like going through it with you and not going to bail on you. So just great experiences. And anybody who's out there who's thinking about starting a project, it's tough, but these are the things that build that tougher skin and that leathery skin where you can keep going to the next projects.
Yeah, I love that. And look, I would be remiss not to say I'm not suggesting that it's fun while you're getting kicked in the teeth. But it is good for you to get kicked in the teeth every once in a while. It's
yes, it is. Yeah.
So I'm super competitive. I went through college on a baseball scholarship, and like if you're keeping score, I'm trying to win. That's just how I am. And I joined a senior, so I'm 53, so I qualify for a senior golf competition. It's really not a league. We play a series of tournaments, and you're trying to win the tournaments. And I thought my golf game was in good shape, and I showed up at the first tournament, and I played terrible, and I got my ass kicked. And I called my wife on the way home because, like, I drove 2 hours for this too. I paid money, drove 2 hours, got shellacked, and I'm driving home and talked to my wife. And she said, "How'd it go?" I said, "Oh, I got fucking killed. Like, I got hammered. I played terrible, and other people played great. I got kicked in the teeth." And she goes, "You're in a surprisingly good mood." And I said, "Well, yeah, it's actually good to get kicked in the teeth sometimes." I thought my game was in much better shape than it was, and it was demonstrated to me today that it was not, and I've got some work to do. And there's value in that if you're willing to learn the lesson. And I'm trying to learn the lesson. So with all that said, take us back to the start. You guys said you met at the Academy Awards, backstage at the Academy Awards. That is a very unique origin moment. Talk a little bit.
Yeah, I want to clarify for your listeners and viewers, we were not there being celebrated. We were not nominated. We were there as workers. And I am the supervisor of what they call the talent page staff. So during the Academy Awards weekend, there's rehearsals and obviously the show. And my staff makes sure people get to where they need to go. Dropped off, taken to the producer's stage, voiceover, sign posters, leave. And I hired my mother when I was like 24. I am still, up in the air as to whether that was a good idea or not. I do get to hang out with her every year at the Oscars, which is pretty cool. And she's actually excellent at what she does. But one day she came up to me after the show and she said, "Hey, have you met the new guy, Gerald?" And so I walked over and introduced myself, and we were instant friends. And within 6 months, we were pitching business ideas at each other. Not good ones. Yeah. We were pitching ideas. And our tax accountants are astonished at the longevity of our friendship and business relationship. Apparently, we've broken all the records for longevity.
Yeah. Yeah. I got into Debbie Allen. I was an intern for Debbie Allen, the choreographer.
Sure.
So that's how I got into the Academy Awards, and I met Kevin's mom backstage, and we hit it off. I love his mom. I call her mom. So it's like I'm the adopted son. So we hit it off, and she introduced me to Kevin. And like Kevin was saying, we just immediately started catching the same vibe. Like, this guy, we're on the same wavelength, and started talking about business and ideas and the industry and everything else. And 20-something years later, over 22 years later, we're still here hustling.
Yeah.
I love that. It's interesting how what you just never know what seems like a chance encounter can change your life. I call that out because we have all sorts of different folks on the podcast that talk about their stories, and some of their stories are amusing and anecdotal. Some of them are pretty heavy. Some people have experienced some really difficult things, and we've had people come on and talk about sexual abuse as children, incest as children, losing children as adults, all of those things. And their life doesn't start to get better until they take action. And so that's why I call that out, is you guys met because you were taking action. You weren't sitting in your living room. You weren't thinking about something. You weren't planning. You were doing something. And so it's something I try to encourage our guests, our audience a lot to think about is just start. You've got to start somewhere, right? And so you guys never would have met each other if you were sitting at home thinking, boy, I wish I had a job.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
had a job. But so you guys meet, you connect, you hit it off. Talk about what was your first venture together? How'd you guys start from, hey, we met backstage, now we're going to put this business together? What'd that look like?
Well, the first venture is ridiculous. It was my idea. That's why I now leave the ideas to this guy. So I said, hey, Gerald, I heard that used college textbooks are a gold mine, and you can sell them on the internet for quite a bit. So with my background in sales, we started cold calling on Southern California colleges, and some of them gave us a whole bunch of their books that were destined for the dump. And we put them in his garage. And that was 20 years ago. They're all still there.
They're still there.
There's spiders all over them. It's like a big pile of spider books.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't sell any of them.
We broke even.
We did break even.
It cost nothing to get the books.
Yeah, there you go. That's if I want to know something about Euclidean geometry, Gerald's garage is the place to be, huh?
As long as you're immune to spider bites, yes.
I remember I had a bunch of books in the house, like some of them that I wanted, but I actually didn't read them. And we had a guest over who thought I was like so smart because I had all these math books and science books all in my house. They were like, oh, this guy reads a lot. He's like instant. No, I got those books for free.
But you look really smart, so it's got a side benefit to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, why didn't that business work? Do you know what went wrong with it? Why you couldn't resell those books, or why there wasn't a market there?
I think I understand it. I'd be curious to get your thoughts, but I think often when you hear of other people's success in something, you don't get the full story.
Yeah.
You know, we were actually kind of productive in going and getting these books from universities, but we did not have a good plan for how to offload them to the public. And, you know, we put them all over the internet and we got nowhere fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we've all done that, heard a story from somebody successful and thought, oh, I could do that. But you didn't really get the full story, you know?
Yeah. One thing my dad used to tell me when I was a kid, and I tell my kids, is don't talk about it, be about it. So Kevin got this idea. He brought it to me. It didn't seem like we could lose. We just went out and did it. We didn't stop talking about it and started doing it. We got the books for free. Like Kevin said, we put them online. I think we sold 1 or 2 books. It was like they're used books. Some of these books are probably outdated by years.
Yeah.
Didn't sell, but if anybody needs some free books, I got a ton in my garage.
Maybe kindling for fires? I don't know.
Oh, that might be a bad look if we're burning books.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good look. You're right.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Well, so that college textbook thing is a racket. And I don't know you guys' background. On my degree, I went to college and had a degree in finance. But I remember taking classes. You had to buy the one specific book. It was only available in the whatever college bookstore. And typically it was written by the professor teaching the class.
Yes.
So not only were you paying tuition, but you're paying him or her. You know, shit, I was going to school, it's like $150 a book.
It's insane.
It's probably more now.
And did you have the book buyback at the end of every semester? Where
they'd give you $15 for it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the cold part is the books are only good for like 4 years, and then they have the updated version with like 2 more paragraphs in it, and you got to buy the updated. You can't buy the used book anymore. You got to buy the brand new updated. Yeah. I don't know if kids today even use books. I think they're all online now, but back in the day, it was a racket.
Oh yeah,
it was a workout carrying your books around campus. Like you literally got a second workout during the day.
Yeah, I had a science book. It was like bigger than a dictionary. It's huge.
Oh my gosh. So you tried that one. It didn't work. A lot of people get to that point and say, well, I guess I'm not meant to be in business. I'm going to go apply at Burger King. Right. What'd you do next? Why didn't you go? Or did you? What'd you do next? Let's just start there.
Well, again, like I let him start pitching the ideas after that. And he wanted us to produce. Have you heard of the actor and host Byron Allen? He used to.
Isn't he Debbie Allen's husband?
No. He was a comedian.
I know who Byron Allen is. Debbie Allen's married to someone famous. Who is it?
Oh, Norm Nixon.
Norm Nixon. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was certain it was. I was like, God, I was questioning myself. I was certain it was a basketball player because it was Norm Nixon. Yeah. Anyhow, but Byron Allen. Yes, I know exactly who Byron Allen is.
Yeah. So I'll let you take it. But he had a good idea.
Again, we are looking at somebody's success and thinking, oh, we could do that. We got a background in film. We've been at the Academy Awards. We know a couple of people. So, inspired by Byron Allen's story of how he started doing syndicated TV, where he would go and produce the show in advance and then go to these local networks and say, do you have any space available? And of course, they just want to sell ad time. So we'll put anything on. It's 2 a.m. We got to have something on 24 hours. This is a lot of, local stations. So Kevin and I decided we were going to produce a television show and go into syndication just like Byron Allen did.
Yeah.
Which was very hard.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even tell you how hard this was.
Yes.
So we found a cable station that was willing to give us a block of time every week, but we were also responsible for selling our own ads. So we had to produce like an act, then there'd be an ad, another act. We bit off way more than we could chew.
Yes.
So we were in pre-production, production, and post-production at all times for one season of the show.
Yeah.
And so we found this company in New York to sell our ads for us so we could break even or hopefully make money. We get to the end of this season. We're worn out.
Yeah.
One of the producers on set was always trying to pick a fight with Gerald.
Me. I don't know why.
We don't know why. So it was constantly like me diffusing situations, and it was nonstop, man. And we both had day jobs at this point. So we get to the end of the season, and the ad lady vanished.
Yeah.
So we did not get that ad money. We don't know where it went.
Yeah.
We got like maybe 5-10% of what we were owed.
Yeah.
But we thought, hey, no problem. We'll sell it into syndication. I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah. Again, bigger than we imagined trying to go into syndication. So we got lucky that the first station allowed us to get that block of time. But when we started going out to reach out to other stations, they already had Byron Allen. They had people who had a reputation, who had a way better film background than us or track record than us. So we got nowhere. And
syndication was kind of wrapping up.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we can just give that time to infomercials. We don't need your content.
Mm-hmm.
And so nobody wanted it. Yeah. And so we killed ourselves making this thing, and it went nowhere.
Yeah. And we learned a lot of lessons. I mean, I always tie it back in while you're going through it. Of course, you're getting kicks in the teeth, but we learned a lot of lessons from that, from the advertising people and just to read people in general. Plus, production is hard. I don't know if you've ever done a film production, but it is hard, especially on a shoestring budget. It was Kevin and myself financing the whole thing. We had barely any much money to feed the people, the crew. A lot of them were friends and volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was super hard, but going back and thinking about it, it just was really fun to do it. Now that we think back on those times.
I think that's a common thing. I don't know if you've experienced this, but when you're in it, it's so hard you can't believe it. 5 years goes by, and now you're reminiscing about the good times. Yeah. And I don't know why that's a thing.
It's funny. I totally agree with everything you said. One note, Byron Allen's a billionaire, is he not?
He is.
He is.
Yes. And it's from syndication.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, I'm pretty sure the model that you just described is what made him a billionaire, if I recall his history correct. Yes. Mm-hmm. So not as easy as it looks from the outside, right?
Yeah.
But to your point that when we look back, it's funny because I've been married to my wife for 32 years. And so anytime you're with someone for 32 years, you got a lot of stories. And we still joke about a lot of stuff, most of the stuff that like didn't go well. Like we built a house in New Hampshire and I built a lot of it myself and it was a fucking shithole. Like I did a terrible job of building it, wasn't insulated or heated properly. And so I put more insulation in the basement trying to keep it warm. And this is in New Hampshire. Like it's not warm in New Hampshire in December, January, by the way. It's not regular cold. It's fucking cold. It's not regular. You need the adjective. And so I come upstairs and I'm like, that feels a lot better. It's a lot warmer in here, isn't it? And everyone's like afraid to tell me it's not. It's like, yeah, it's a lot warmer in here. They're like, this guy's smoking his lunch, man. That's like our standard saying now. When someone is like deluding themselves, one of us will just say, "Oh, it's a lot warmer in here now, isn't it?" So it's actually become a code. My absolute failure as a contractor and a father has become code for, yeah, you're kidding yourself.
That is funny. I think that's one of the lessons we've learned is if you're going to bite off more than you can chew, make sure you got an expert on hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Did you ever track down the ad money, or did you just abscond with all your ad money?
No, it was gone. It was gone. So we reached the company that she worked for, and they were like, well, she doesn't have any records. We have no records of any of this stuff. But the ads did air.
Well, that's good.
But there was no record of the payments we were supposed to get. If she paid us, all of that stuff was gone.
Yeah.
So I think she got fired and it just disappeared.
Maybe some embezzlement. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's it's funny. That's something about contracts that I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, I get it. It's important to do contracts in business, and I don't do business now without contracts. However, actually enforcing a contract is really hard. And most people don't. It's like you don't walk into someone's office, slap the contract down, and they go, "Oh, you're right. I forgot about the contract. Here's your check." Mm-hmm. Like that ain't how the world works in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, if we would have got a lawyer to try to get the money back, it would have cost us more in legal fees than what we would have got from them if they decided to even pay us a full amount, which they wouldn't. So it was just like, all right, another kick in the teeth. Let's keep moving.
Yep.
Yeah. What was the lesson, the biggest lesson you took away from trying to syndicate and produce this content and sell? What was your biggest takeaway from that one?
For me, and I'm sure you've got a different answer. It was an aha moment in terms of timing. It really is everything. Syndication, as you said, made Byron Allen a billionaire. But we hit the tail end of the syndication train. So, timing is everything. And Gerald always says things like, by the time everybody knows about it, it's too late. That ship has sailed.
Yep.
So, what do you got to get in at the right time.
Yeah. And what people don't realize, and we didn't realize at the time, is Byron Allen has started and now owns hundreds of these small stations that we were trying to attempt to sell the syndicated show into, try to get those free time slots. So why would he give it to us? That's my entire business model. You're cheating. You're stealing from me. So he owns a lot of stations in like middle America, these small little ABC stations, CBS stations. So it's all about timing. We got in years too late, and now it's practically all dried up. Everything's streaming now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at that earlier, and I was talking to my son about it earlier today, actually. I saw on, I think it was the All In podcast, they were talking about the hours spent globally on streaming services versus the hours spent globally on self-directed content, i.e. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok type. And the self-directed content is far outpacing Netflix and Hulu and those other services. So it's almost like those old forms of media and entertainment are dying. And this, what we're doing right here is taking its place. So if someone could figure out a niche in what we're doing right here and really blow it up, there's good money to be made there too. Like I enjoy doing this because I get to meet guys like you. I get to hear your stories. I learn from all of our guests. I get to share that with our audience. So I love that part of it, but don't get me wrong. If I can get paid for it, sure, I'll do that too, but it's not why I do it. But there's a real opportunity there for sure. I was talking to my son about that earlier today. Timing. Like Gerald said, timing.
Kids. My son and my daughter, they'll have the TV on, whatever they're streaming, and 90% of the time they're on the phone like this. And they'll glance up a little bit and back to the phone. So they're getting more hours looking at the phone and barely even paying attention to what's on the television. I think they're just like wasting energy. So
well, it's crazy. So I'm 53, and like going to the movie theater was an event when I was a kid or a young adult. Nobody goes to the movie theater anymore. It's like, the fuck do I want to go pay $18 to sit in a chair and Pay $9 for a Coke and a thing of popcorn, and no thanks. I'm gonna sit right here and do whatever I want.
Yeah.
It cost me almost $80. I took my 2 daughters, my wife, and myself, and we got popcorn. We didn't even get drinks. We just got popcorn, and it was about $80.
Water fountain's right out there if you're thirsty.
Yeah. We may have had some water in our pocket, but
yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I get it though. And I went to film school. He went to film school. Like we're film people, but we both also have 100-inch TVs now.
Yeah.
Because you can buy those for less than $1,000.
Yeah.
Right.
And I got my recliner I love. And why would I go replicate that experience in public, but worse?
Yeah. And then 3 months later, it's streaming on Disney Plus anyway. So why pay $80? I just wait 3 months and we'll watch it at home.
Exactly. I think sports is going the same direction. I see a lot of people now who don't like to go to sporting events because your experience at the event is worse than your experience at it. Like I'm a guy that loves the game itself. So I'm not a flash guy. I'm a substance guy. So I like the strategy. I like to see what's going on. I like to think about those things. So like the halftime show at the Super Bowl doesn't mean a thing to me. I want to know about the matchup, the offense versus the defense, this receiver, this is this quarterback, blah, blah, blah. But it feels like to me, there's more and more people that are going that way. And I think sports is doing a better job of providing an experience at the stadium. So you've got the music and the tailgating and the various booths that you can go to that you don't have in your living room. I think that's a good way to go. I don't know how you would do that in the entertainment industry, though. It makes me I don't know. Like, I think Hollywood's lost its grip on society like it used to have, at least from my perspective.
Yeah. I will say that I'm a little astonished at some of the numbers I read this week, though. Globally, annually, actually, no, that's wrong. Domestically, annually, box office ticket sales hover around 10 billion a year. That's the same number as 30 years ago, by the way.
Really?
So it has not grown. However, Apple TV, the streaming service, is spending $50 billion next year on content. So they're 5-timesing the global box office next year just to produce content to stream. So I'm very curious to see how all this shakes out, where the entertainment, specifically film, ends up,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's so interesting. Now, look, I'm an outsider. I don't know a thing about the entertainment industry. I know a lot about the sporting industry, but entertainment, I know nothing. This podcast wouldn't exist if it wasn't my producer. If it wasn't for him, I would have no idea how to get this out to the rest of the world. I'm just the pretty face, clearly. But I enjoy the connection. That's what I enjoy about this. Is I like having real conversations. I'm good at small talk, but I'm not a small talk guy. I like brass tacks, get to the point, tell me what it's about. Let's solve some problems. That's the kind of approach I take, which is why I love talking to guys like you, because you've dealt with and solved or learned from a lot of problems. So now you've tried buying or acquiring, is a better way to say it, textbooks for free and selling them to college students. You've tried producing content and syndicating it route, neither of which have gone well for you. So at this point, you both go buy suits, put your applications at IBM, and call it a day, right?
Well, we
did
have one successful moment where it wasn't for the money; it was for just love of film and the industry. So Kevin and I produced a PSA on school violence. Indian school violence, and we did that. We shot that in one day. We shot it real quick. It broadcast a little bit, and we were fortunate enough to get an Emmy Award for that one, which was a surprise. We just did it because we had an idea, and like I was saying before, don't talk about it, be about it. Had an idea, went out and shot it, got it broadcast, and then it was nominated, and we ended up winning.
Congratulations!
So that's
that's so awesome.
to keep us motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I love that.
Yeah.
And look, it's action again, right? Keep taking action. And look, fuck the financial part. That's a huge success, what you just described. You did something you were passionate about, you affected people's lives, and you were recognized for it publicly. That's a huge win. Huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that fueled the fire. And then we moved on to opening our first business that did make money, and we were able to quit our day jobs finally.
Yeah.
So yeah, one little victory, and we were, hit the ground running.
Yeah. Everything we've done has been a risk. Everything we've done has been like scary to start.
Mm-hmm.
And which is good to have a partner like Kevin, where you're like, I don't know if I can do this by myself. I'm like nervous. I got kids to feed. We're about to spend a ton of money on this thing. And if it flops, I'm going to hear it from the wife and it's going to be a disaster. So having like a ride or die buddy like Kevin to go in the trenches with you really helps. So if anybody, any of your listeners out there, like find that person who's supporting you, even if they're not part of your business, is somebody to kind of like, hey man, you got this. It really helps.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. For me personally, I don't think I could have attempted these businesses alone. And I know that I wouldn't have succeeded in the areas that we've succeeded alone. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So the business Kevin was starting about was adult residential facilities, which is for the developmentally disabled. We started those. Again, I actually knew about this industry. My godfather, when I was a little kid, had these type of businesses. And I was so young, I didn't know what they were. I just was aware of it. And then I was working with a friend of mine, and he was telling me, oh, I'm starting this business. It's adult residential facilities. You should do it. I'm like, no, I'm doing movies. I don't want to do that. I'm a movie maker. So next, yeah, I know, right?
It's a natural pivot. It's a natural pivot.
Yeah. So next thing I know, he's retired. Or he's just doing that. He quit and he started doing that. And I'm like, wait a minute. I think I know what this is. So I started doing more and more research on it. I talked to my aunt, who her husband, my godfather, was in the game. And I'm like, yeah, I do remember this industry. And then talked to Kevin. We did a lot of research again, and really started to enjoy what it was and felt good about starting the business. So it wasn't just about trying to make a successful business. It was something that we could feel good about.
Yeah.
Because you can make money doing anything. I can make money on OnlyFans. I mean, this is a handsome mug, but I decided an industry that really felt good. You're helping people again. And I mean, the young men that we work with, I mean, they're like family now. I talk to them every single day. So it's just a bigger family.
So you said something there that's super important. Yes, making money is important, but feeling good about what you're doing to make it matters a lot, right? And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, is that they only chase the money without thinking about what is it I have to do to earn that money. And it's funny because I deal in my life, I've dealt with hundreds of attorneys for various, I haven't been involved in hundreds of lawsuits, but like I've, because I'm real direct and straightforward and I'm not afraid of a lot of things, I'm a pretty good negotiator because it doesn't bother me to ask questions or to kind of walk out on the limb to see if I can get the fruit or not. And I know so many attorneys who despise what they do, like despise being attorneys, but they make good money. And so they've kind of got the golden handcuffs on. And, you know, a lot of my stuff is around business. So it's mergers and acquisitions and contract law and things like that, employment law. And when you talk to them, it's like, I wish I could find something different to do, but I don't know where I could make what I make now doing something different. So I just think it's worth calling out for the audience that not only were you interested in doing something that allowed you to go do your own thing, but you had to feel good about it. And how could you not feel good about helping developmentally challenged people with a living facility and with life skills and with creating some type of independence in their life? And I know a couple of people who have children with those types of challenges. So I know exactly what you're talking about because they're in those situations. One's up in New England and the other one's out on the West Coast in Oregon, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. When you're passionate about what you're doing, it helps when you hit those rough spots. If you weren't passionate about it, you're like, I'm out the game, or you'd be super stressed. But if you're passionate about what you're doing and you know you're doing the right thing and you know you're moving in the right direction, then when you have a hiccup, or you have some problems, it's going to be like, this is too important for me to let slip away. Let's keep moving. Let's keep pushing this. And that's why, and even I tell my kids that, like, they're in college. 2 of them are in college now. I tell them, do what you're passionate about first. And if it all fails, you can always go back to school and do something else. But I really push passion because you got one life to live. So try to make the best of it and don't get stuck in a dead end job if you can't. I mean, I was for a long time a job that was a great job, paid well, and but it wasn't my passion. So going there was like, oh, let's go. I got to feed the family. And this business that I started with Kevin is a passion project.
Yeah, I love that. The one caveat I'll put to that is you can also learn to find passion in what you're doing. It might not be obvious, but like I sell groceries. That doesn't sound like much, but when you think about it, this is the way I think about it. We literally feed people. Like we literally keep them alive by providing nutritious, affordable, healthy options for them to feed their family. So that feels different than, hey, I'm selling green beans at 69 cents a can. And it's true because we see the impact. You know, we're able to do things like we sponsored a Little League so that they could have kids participate in Little League. And I'm such a believer in sports as a teacher of life to children. I think it's so valuable for kids to participate in team athletics because it teaches them so many valuable life skills that they'll use for their entire life. And we were able to do that from the grocery stores. And so like nobody's sitting around going, you know, I really hope I get to sell lettuce when I get older.
Yeah. To your point though, I think, I imagine your listeners are all interested in being self-starters, entrepreneurs. I imagine that's a big chunk of your audience. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Opening a business and running it successfully, no matter what you're selling. If you're selling lettuce or you're, selling gizmos, it's all the same hard challenges. It's all the same lessons you're going to learn. And I can't think of anything that's more rewarding than, as we keep saying, trying, getting your teeth kicked in, continuing, and then one day you're like, oh, hey, we're turning a profit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're selling fidget spinners, lettuce, dog kennels, whatever. Business is business. And I think it's all going to challenge us in the best ways to be challenged.
Yeah, I think that's 100% right. It's funny because I think about family very similarly. So, I met my wife. We were 21 and 19 when we got married, and 22 and 20 when we had our first kid. And when we met, literally everything we owned fit in the back of a Honda Accord. And I know that because it was my Honda Accord, and we jammed it all in there and drove from Reno back to Portland, Oregon. And I look now and say, my youngest son's getting married in this upcoming August. We've got family all over the world, and we're kind of at the center of all that. And we built that together. It started from nothing, and we built it from cultivating relationships and, having conversations with people and caring about what happened in their lives and them caring about what happened in our lives. And that's what I'm the most proud of in my life. I've had success in business. I've had miserable failures in business, just like you've described. And so I've started plenty of businesses that went right in the shitter, like literally plane into the mountain type stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been there. I can empathize and sympathize with what you're talking about. And I look at the family thing and say, you know what, that's permanent for me. Like those relationships, nobody can ever take away from me. And we're always going to have the time and the memories and the experiences that we have together. And that's what really motivates me in the world, is providing those platforms and experiences for other people. So from what was the time frame from the textbooks to the assisted living? How long was that period?
15 years?
Yeah, it was a while. It was a while.
Right?
Yeah. It was a lot of research, a lot of, getting in the industry. You can't even get in unless you have 2 years experience.
Yeah.
They won't even let you apply.
So we tried to buy one.
Yeah.
I would love to tell a funny story about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we found one here in the LA area, and the lady was selling for a reasonable price. And so we went to the bank to see if we can get a loan. Her taxes were a mess. The bank was like, we're not going to give you the loan. So I go back to her to try to reach some sort of deal, maybe seller finance plus a big down payment, just see if I could figure it out.
Yep.
And I go back to her. I say, all right, this is where we're at. She says, okay, the price has gone up 30 grand. And I said, why is that? And she says, I've improved the business a lot. And I was like, tell me more. What did you do? And then she just paused, dead silence. And I could see the wheels turning. And she goes, I got new silverware. I was like, you got 30 grand in silverware?
I know. From the Dollar Tree?
What's that? What exactly did you buy?
Yeah.
So we walked away from that one, kind of started fresh, trying to build it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a journey to get from conception to actually opening our first one, which happened to happen right when the pandemic hit, like
Yes.
first time.
We opened our doors the day before California shut down for the pandemic.
Yeah. So we almost went bankrupt right there.
Right then and there.
We're
Yeah.
just paying for an empty house for 19 months. We're just paying for a house to sit empty.
And then we get our first two clients, as we call them, residents. And the next day, California shut down for 9 more months.
Yeah.
So had we missed it, if we'd been one day later,
we would have been
it
bankrupt.
would have never happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so are you guys the co-chairs of Newsom for President 2028?
We don't do politics.
Yeah.
No politics for us.
Just a joke. Just a joke. It's just a joke. Everybody calm down. It's just a joke. Well, that's awesome. So like you can see guys that there's, and guys, I'm gonna say guys, I'm talking to the audience. Look at all of the things that Gerald and Kevin had to go through and learn and overcome to get to where they're at. That doesn't happen overnight. It rarely happens easy, if ever. I always say every overnight success you see has been at least 10 years in the making behind the scenes. For you guys, it was 15. But even when you got to a good spot, now all of a sudden, a global once in a generation pandemic comes and shuts the whole thing down. And you got to figure out how to solve that. Like it's just never easy. But that kind of takes us now to where I think is a good spot. And you tell me if it's not. But to start talking about your app that you've developed, which you've got your banner behind you there. But what led you to that? How'd you get from, okay, now you've got a successful business. A lot of people be like, great, where's my time? I'm going to go sit on the beach and count my money.
Yeah. I mean, we could have done that. I don't think we have it in it's not in our nature to sit idle. So we hustled and we finally got our business running. It took us like 5 years of running the business to actually feel safe and secure with
exhale a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if ever we have time to relax, our mind the wheels start going and we're like, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
We never pause and say, hey, we did it. High five.
Yeah.
It's always like, what's next? What's next?
I actually read that some people don't have an off button.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're missing. You know, we don't have the off button.
Yeah. We've talked about it. If we ever got like super rich in some way, won the lottery or something, we wouldn't stop. We don't have it in our nature to stop hustling. That's like we're addicted to the adrenaline of starting something, of figuring it out, if it's hard, and just try to see it blossom and grow.
Yeah.
So I think that's what led us to Blessing, really.
Yeah. And I'll start us off. But again, it was his idea. After I had the spider book debacle, all the ideas were left up to him.
Learn your lessons, right? Learn your lessons.
I mean, I've pitched a few ideas and they were stinkers. But I think for me now, Blessing, Blessn, is actually kind of a no duh thing. Like, of course the world needs this. And everybody says in business, you're solving a problem, right? It's not, oh, I came up with a really neat thing. It's what problem am I solving? And I think we can all agree right now that the internet, especially social media, has turned pretty negative. And I think especially for young people, I don't think it's doing, I think it's doing a great deal of harm in some ways. You brought up people comparing themselves to others in their, Instagram or whatever. And there's also obviously a lot of divisive content, people arguing and bickering and all that stuff. I know for me, I start the day scrolling on my phone. And if we're going to start our days scrolling on our phones and it's all negative, well, that's how you're starting your day, is with a very negative mindset, maybe an anxious mindset. And I think we've all kind of felt that, but it's not realistic to say, let's all stop. Like, let's put down our phones. Let's not go on social media. That's not realistic. That's never going to happen. People need that little micro dopamine hit. I do. And there's not really an alternative. We all thought that VR goggles were going to be the new thing. That's not a thing. Nobody wants to strap that on their heads. So there wasn't really a solution to this problem of we're all doing this to ourselves. And it's probably not good for us. It's really not good for the younger generations. So I'll give it to you, because he actually called me one day with this idea.
Yeah, I'm the same as Kevin. I start my day scrolling. I end my day scrolling. So I'm having nightmares or thinking about what I just saw on the internet. And no matter if you're following a lot of positive content creators, just scrolling, you're going to end up seeing something you didn't want to see or you weren't expecting to see. Somebody getting hit, somebody getting hurt, somebody doing a challenge that gets hurt. And I was called Kevin and I'm like, dude, this is bad. I got an idea. So I pitched him the idea for Blessing, just positive content, faith-based positive content where people will go on and actually be inspired, feel uplifted. And you want to start your day with some faith scrolling over doom scrolling. And we always say faith scrolling over doom scrolling, because before you start your day and you go get your coffee and you drive in your car, you want to feel uplifted instead of feeling mad at the world. Now you got road rage. So I called Kevin. He happened to be feeling the same thing at the exact same time. And both of us were like, let's do it. Like, again, we just jumped right in. We didn't have a background in development or apps or anything like that.
Didn't even know a developer.
Yeah, we didn't even know a developer at the time. So we went and did the research. And a great part about having a good partner is like it's divide and conquer. Like, all right, you find the developer, I'll do this. And so we divided up everything and we report back to each other. And we were able to, 2.5 years later, launch Blessing.
And it was, trust us, it was not a vertical.
No.
Like, it wasn't that.
Yes.
It was a crash burn.
Yeah.
Crash burn.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know developing, coding, and you just go out there in the world to try to find somebody to be your developer, you're going to find a lot of people to say the right thing. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know that world, you can get suckered into hiring them and finding out that they did not know what they were doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who say the right thing. We learned that the hard way. They say the right thing, and you're like, this is the guy. He said everything right.
Yeah.
Then you get in, and it's like, where'd this guy go? He disappeared. The product's nowhere.
Yeah.
Where is this? It was bad.
Yeah.
It was
rough
bad.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you there. It's very difficult in a lot of industries to separate the pretenders from the contenders. And I know technology is one of those. We, at our business, we were looking for a payroll tracking. We at one point had over 500 employees and everybody's got to clock in and clock out. That sounds like a very basic thing. It's not as basic as it seems. And the providers that we talked to, we started asking questions. We started off with one because you got to start somewhere. We were not happy. And so then we started interviewing, but I knew a lot more about payroll then because I'd never been directly responsible for providing the system for which 500 people clocked in or out. And so can you do this? Well, sort of. Well, that means no. So the answer is no. Yeah. Sort of means no. The only other answer besides yes is no. And I'm a baseball guy. It always goes back to baseball to me. You throw a pitch, there's one of two calls. It's a ball or it's a strike. There's no almost. Yeah. We call those balls. Yeah. Oh, almost. Yeah, that's a ball. That's not an almost strike. That's a ball. And so we interviewed, 10 companies before we finally settled on one that checked enough. We didn't find anyone that did everything we wanted, but we found one that checked enough of the boxes that we felt comfortable moving forward with them. And it's just, that's the problem with, or the challenge, let me say it that way, because there's so many things that none of us, I'm not an expert in almost anything there's a couple things I feel pretty like, if you want to talk about baseball, I'm probably better educated and able to talk about that than most people. If you want to talk about negotiation, I'm really well trained in negotiation. Dealing with people, I'm really well trained in. But I think I'm done on the things I'm really good at. Like, I think that's it. I think it's those three.
Yeah.
So then you've got to go try to talk to people who either are experts or positioning themselves as experts. You don't even know what questions to ask them. Like, you don't even know the right questions to ask to know
what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's so hard, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to your point, trial and error, right? Take action, measure the results, decide if you like the results. If not, take different actions. That's the only way to get it done.
One foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
That's it. And I really do now really believe in the 80-20 rule. You know, the 20% of your vendors or 20% of your employees or your efforts yield 80% of the results.
Yep.
We have found that to be absolutely true when hiring vendors to help us through things. 80% of them produce nothing. 20% of them produce everything.
Yeah, totally agree. So how does Blessin work? Like, what does your app do? Well, what do people do on your app?
It's faith-based social media. And it's also for folks who really want to be uplifted and encouraged. And it is, if you go on it, it will feel very familiar. It'll feel like all the apps you're already using. The content is the difference. And it's brand new. We've launched in the last month, but our reception has been fantastic. And I think you mentioned earlier, we got some, NBA players on there already. And there's a second component too that I'll let Gerald talk about as well.
Yeah, like Kevin was saying, we were really happy about how many people embraced it within a month. We got NBA players, we got college athletes, we got singers, we got podcasters, we got all these people joining the app with the same mission, is to bring uplifting, positive content. But what we noticed on a lot of other social media platforms is people were trying to monetize. They were selling content that didn't align with our values. So we thought, well, where do we create a space for people who are pushing positive content to also monetize and also be rewarded for what they're doing? So we created, on the app, you have the opportunity to purchase a personalized blessing or message of faith from somebody. So if you know somebody who's graduating from high school, or you want to send your mama a last minute birthday surprise, you can
Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas. You can go to an NBA player or a college athlete or somebody who inspires you to say, hey, Mom, this is so-and-so, and we just want to say happy birthday and yada, yada, yada. Or if your son's nervous about the SATs, somebody give him an encouraging message about the SATs, who's a college athlete, says, hey, look, I've been there, and this is scary, but this is what we want to do. So we just thought, in order to reward positive content, we want to create an opportunity to monetize on Blessin. But if you don't want to use it you don't want to sign up and purchase, you just use it like any other social media platform.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to sell a Blessin, if you don't want to monetize your account, you can use it just like any other social media platform.
Yeah.
And just turn that function off.
Nice. I love that. So it's like the positive Facebook or the positive TikTok. And you guys said faith-based. What does faith-based mean?
Well, we did develop it for Christian users, but we don't want to be too, exclusionary. We don't want to leave people out. So yes, it is faith-based and it is a Christian platform. But if you are just looking for uplifting content, we got people on there doing all sorts of goofy stuff as well, wholesome, goofy, fun things. So it's, really for anybody who's tired of the negativity and really don't want to start their day that way. They want to start their day positive,
Yeah. I mean, everybody's welcome on Blessin, regardless of your background. What's the most important aspect of it is seeing somebody who's like doing parkour. There's a guy on there doing parkour. He doesn't say a word. He's just doing this cool stuff that I wish I could do. Another guy is, dressed up like Spider-Man doing some cool edit that really cool stuff. We're really happy that this younger generation has started navigating to Blessin, because it gives it that youthful vibe where people are just being happy to be alive. It's a beautiful day. We got a girl playing in the snow. We got like just fun stuff on Blessing. But you're not going to scroll and end up seeing somebody selling their OnlyFans page or anything negative. You're going to see positive stuff. Nobody's getting hurt on here. You're not going to see somebody getting punched in the face or anything negative like that. So just uplifting, fun content.
Now, something that's happened organically, I think is really cool, is a lot of the creators on there, for some reason, starting their videos with "Hey family," and I've seen this over and over and over. And I thought, wow, we didn't tell anybody to do that. They just started treating this as like a family community thing. Yeah. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody started it, and I guess it just started trending.
Took off.
Yeah. Everybody's like, hey, family. Hey, family. Hey, Blessing family. And I was like, wow, that's cool. They already feel like a community in this. And I think it's partially because we just launched. So it's a great opportunity for, young influencers to jump on now and to build their community while we're growing. You're not going to get lost in the sea of millions of users try starting a page on Instagram now or TikTok. There's a billion people on there.
Right.
Blessing, starting fresh. You're getting all the content, all the eyeballs are on you because people are starting to navigating over to us. So it's a really great way to join early and start getting your message to the people you want to get your message to.
Yeah. Yesterday, a person texted me and told me, hey, I joined. So I went on the app to see if I could scroll and find her. She was the very top of the page. Yeah. Her very first post was the very top of the page.
Yeah.
I was like, where else can you do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've never posted anything and been anywhere near the top.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's very cool. How do you monitor content? That's one of the challenges that I've heard from other platforms that, hey, we try to get negative content, inappropriate content, blah, 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 off of the platform as soon as possible. What systems do you have in place for that?
Twofold. One, our team does keep an eye on it. Two, if you type in in a comment section, if you attempt to type a bad word, it won't let you. Or if you make a video request, like, hey, send me a personalized message, again, it won't let you type hate words, bad words, or anything. Now, in terms of people uploading videos, it's up to our team to keep a sharp eye on it for it,
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, there'll be people out there who are trying to trick the system. So we just really monitor what's going up. We look at it every single day. We have an entire team looking at it practically 24 hours a day. So somebody flags it, it's gone. And you're banned from the site.
Nice. Yeah. Look, there's always knuckleheads. You get it is what it is. It's the world we live in. And you can't stop them from doing it. You just have to react once it happens. So I was thinking, I had a guest on, we aired her episode several months ago, just a super neat lady. And she happens to be Jewish, but she sells children's books that kind of give life lessons. It feels like it'd be really appropriate to send her the app and have her take a look at it. Would you say that if someone was Jewish or Muslim or some other denomination, it still feels like a really good place for people that want to spread positive messages that are faith-based? Am I thinking about that the right way?
Oh, yes, 100% you are. Yes.
Everyone's welcome on Blessing.
Yeah. I talked to a Hindu guy yesterday, and he was excited to join. I said, please come aboard.
Yeah, and it's funny because I personally I'm not a religious person, and that's not good or bad. It's just a statement of fact. I am very supportive of religion, though, because I feel like religion provides a structure for a lot of people who don't have a structure or a framework by which to kind of live their life with guiding principles. And so I personally am I think it's one of the challenges we have in our society is that too many people have moved away from faith and not too many people have not moved towards faith. But I'm starting to see that change, especially in younger generations. You're starting to see, it's interesting. My youngest son is 25 and he went to Catholic school, but we did not raise him Catholic. But he and his fiance go to church every Sunday. Sunday. Nice. Yeah. And
I think one of the big losses when people, America as a whole, is kind of moving away from going to church and having faith is losing community.
Yeah.
And they have proven it's like you mentioned this earlier. They've proven that one of the factors that determines longevity, how long you live, especially how long you live healthy, is what are your meaningful relationships in your life.
Yep.
And if you have a lot of meaningful relationships, you're more apt to be disease-free, live longer. So that is one of the losses as America moves away from church attendance. And I think that's very unfortunate. And I think, we had this utopian idea of the internet back in the day. And do you remember the times when we thought, oh, this is one big happy community? And it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what happened, but we're kind of hoping we can capture some of that community we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
Is great for outreach. So if your attendance at your church is low, or youth organization, or any organization that's positive, this is a great way to outreach to people who are like-minded. So, I mean, attendance is already dropping in a lot of these organizations because there's such a great pull for the negative content. So if you want to get your content out there to the audience that you actually want to reach, then come on over to Blessing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is it offered in different languages? Do you offer it worldwide? Like if I was in wherever, could I use Blessing?
Yeah, we weirdly had a whole bunch of downloads in Nigeria a couple weeks ago. We're not even sure why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I do know that there's a pretty big Christian population in Nigeria. I have a business partner that's from Nigeria.
Okay.
So I happen to know there is a pretty big Christian population, but I asked that question because our audience is actually pretty big internationally, believe it or not. So we have plenty of folks in the United States. We have plenty that are in all other places, and we've had guests on from all over the world as well. It's one of the cool things I love about the podcast is, when I look at, I can think of at least 10 different countries that our guests lived in when they appeared on our podcast. Now I'm just, I speak English. That's all I got. And I'm not even good at that sometimes, but, they speak other languages. And I was just curious because I know we have a big audience in India. We have a big audience in Bangladesh. And, I was curious if they would be able to have access to Blessing as well.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Worldwide.
Yeah. That's awesome stuff. What has been your biggest takeaway? I know you just launched it a month ago, but what has been your biggest takeaway so far? What has surprised you the most? What have you learned the most from the process of starting it to getting it up and running now for a month?
Me personally, I've been shocked at how much we've pivoted already. Often you go into something thinking this is the way it's going to go, and you quickly realize you got to be nimble, you got to pivot. You got to make the changes to reduce friction of use. So people are like, hey, I tried to do this and it didn't work. So you got to move fast, make things accessible. How about you?
Yeah, I think with any business, it just starts evolving on its own. And already Blessing is evolved in 1 month. But I think the happiest, and I don't know if it was a surprise, but it was really exciting for me to see how many young people jumped on immediately.
Yeah.
The younger generation, I think, is really the most impressionable and who needs, a healthy outlet. And I think this is a perfect place for them. So when I started seeing people in their teens and 20 years old doing exercise, they got a woman on there who's IBF. I'm not sure but a workout person. And she's doing really cool content on there. And just seeing a young generation embracing Blessing was like, we're really happy to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, look, correlation does not equal causation. I understand that. I'm a math guy. I'm a statistics guy. Totally got it. However, I think there's so much anecdotal evidence that shows a huge rise in unhappiness, a huge rise in depression, a huge rise in anxiety, a huge rise in kind of social isolation to the proliferation of the internet and apps in people's everyday lives. You can kind of tie it right back to the rise of the iPhone, which led to the rise of the apps, which led to the rise of interaction with social media. And I I just don't think those two things aren't directly connected. And that's why I was so excited about bringing you guys on to talk about something like this. That's kind of a shining star in kind of the darkness of everything else that's available to people out on the internet. And look, like, like OnlyFans, I got it. You got to pay your bills and blah, blah, blah. I'm not judging anybody. I just think that anyone that's doing that stuff now is going to look back on it 20 years from now and question their choices and probably not be super happy with the choices they made when they were younger. But
that stuff doesn't die. It lives on the internet forever.
Yeah. And like you said, I'm not knocking anybody's, life choices. If that's what they want to do, that I'm all for it. We just thought it'd be a great place for opportunity to not do that. If you want to monetize your social media feed, we got something over here. You can do something that's positive and also get exclusive content, but it's uplifting.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have been in a restaurant. It used to be you'd look at a table full of young people and they weren't talking. They were all on their iPhones. Lately, I've noticed the older crowd, like, the boomers, all sitting at the table on their iPhones, not talking.
Totally.
It infected everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because my wife and I don't go out very often. We're big fans of kind of eating at home and for a variety of reasons. When we do go out, it's one of the things we talk about, like, hey, everyone needs to put their phone down and we're going to enjoy the experience in each other's company. That's what we're here for. Like, that's the point. Because I don't need to pay 4x of something I can have at home.
Right.
It's about the experience. So, like, enjoy the experience. It's funny. I've got a relative who takes pictures of everything, and I'm not a big picture guy personally. But I said to them one time, like, you're missing the whole experience because you're trying to take fucking pictures of it. Put your put your camera down and enjoy what you're experiencing right now. This is what it's about. Not that picture.
I mean, you're a baseball guy. Have you watched baseball and seen somebody who has these amazing seats right behind home base and they got their phone up like this?
It's wild, dude. It's wild.
Why is your phone up?
Yeah.
Like, you got these amazing seats, probably paid 20 grand for them, and you're right behind home base and you got your phone out.
Yeah. So, I've been guilty of this. I went to Machu Picchu years ago.
Yeah.
And the 100% of my experience was through my phone.
Oh.
And afterwards, I was like, I didn't get much out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Machu Picchu, right?
Yeah.
An ancient city that you got to experience in person.
Yeah.
You want to take a quick snap? That's fine. Everybody, we did that back with instant cameras, one of those little, but try to experience life and how beautiful life is. And a lot of time it passes by so fast. You want to just take a moment and pause and say, "Oh, this is a beautiful day today," or something cool happened today. So those are the things you want to share with other people, but live life, enjoy it, and follow your dreams, really.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys see any iterations to Blessin', or do you see it kind of just growing organically the way that it is? Like, and I'm not trying to push you on anything. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on the future of the app. Do you see growth there? Do you see offshoots there? Or does it kind of speak for itself? Like, hey, we just want a positive community where people can experience good things and get into a positive mindset as an antidote to the negativity that exists out there.
I think we're very open. We just spoke to a guy today who was like, hey, are you going to do live streaming for churches? And we were both like, well, now we are.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. And I think Gerald he's still very much got the film bug in him.
Oh, yeah.
I think he would love to open up Blessin' Films one day as well.
I would love that. If there's a film market out there. But I think Blessin's just going to keep evolving over time, because Kevin and I don't know how to sit still. So something will pop into our head. And it'd be fun. Let's do this. Let's open Blessin' Podcast. Let's open Blessin' Radio or Blessin' Films, or it's just going to keep evolving. Right now, we're just taking off, so we're just getting started. We're just trying to see where this takes us, and hopefully we can keep growing Blessin'.
Yeah. So if you got ideas, feel free to pitch them.
Yeah. While you were talking, like we talked a little bit earlier about this huge spike in the overtaking of streaming services by user-directed content. that feels like a natural with your guys' background in the film and entertainment industry. That feels like a natural to produce some of the content. Like Gerald was just, I saw him light up when you were talking about it, to produce that and put it out there. So yeah, look, I'm not telling you what to do, but it sure seems like an opportunity for you guys. And I think the world's a better place when people are doing positive and uplifting stuff. And look, I love dark movies. I'm one of the few people that really likes, like my wife really likes movies with happy endings. I don't need the happy ending. I like the dark stories.
What's your genre? What's your go-to?
I love all of them, but like one of my favorite movies of all time is Unforgiven, the Clint Eastwood Western.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I love it because he tells the story with so few words. And the thing I always tell people is watch that movie and tell me who the good guy is and who the bad guy is. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a commentary on human nature that everybody has good and bad in them. And depending on the situation that you're in, that good or bad can come out, because Gene Hackman is the sheriff who's supposed to be keeping law and order, and he's ruthless and he's really, really, I don't want to use the word evil because it's not right, but like he is the bad guy in many instances in that film. And Clint Eastwood is a known, basically serial killer in the Old West, and he's the good guy in so many instances in that movie. And just the way they wove it all together, it's one of my favorite movies of all time because it speaks so much about human character. Like that's what I love about it.
It's funny you brought that up. It's got one of my all-time favorite movie scenes. Do you remember the young character who's really dying, as a young man, dying to be just like Clint Eastwood?
Oh, yeah.
He knows what Clint Eastwood's background is. He wants to be a gunslinger like him.
The Schofield Kid, sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I love this scene, and I hope this doesn't spoil it for any listeners, but when he gets an opportunity to be, a bad old gunslinger, and he takes a life, his reaction to it is amazing.
The scene with Clint Eastwood and him on the top of the hill waiting for the girl to come up on the horse. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I love it.
Yeah, I love he's crying, drinking whiskey, talking about how it wasn't what he thought it would be. It like him being a gunslinger wasn't the feeling he thought it would be, and now he's crying.
Oh my gosh! And, one of my favorite parts of that scene is when he's in kind of his confession to Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood is standing, and he doesn't really turn around, but he kind of peers back, and all he says is, "Take another drink, kid." Yeah. Oh, it's so powerful. Like you can't undo it. You did it. You got to live with it for the rest of your life. That's what he's saying.
I think that's an incredible life lesson too. I think oftentimes, especially if you're a dreamer, I think we're dreamers, you're a dreamer. I think you have it in your head. When this happens, boy, am I going to feel like that. And then sometimes, maybe it does. Maybe you do feel like that. But oftentimes you get to that pinnacle or whatever, and it doesn't feel at all like you thought it would feel.
Yeah.
And I think I heard Dax Shepard, the podcaster and husband of Kristen Bell.
Yep.
And actor. He was saying the worst thing that ever happened to him was he got all his dreams early in life. And the money, the fame, the girls. And he said, and then he had to face himself. And I think about that often. I think being hustlers as we are and building businesses, I think you have to do it for the love of doing it, not for that moment where you're standing on top of the mountain,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And you see that a lot in athletics. And it's a very common story to see a young athlete who makes it big and winds up broke with a terrible life.
Right.
And when you think about it, like your guy's story is the perfect antithesis to that, right? So you're young, you're ambitious, you're hustlers, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, you try, you succeed. The success doesn't feel like success, and even the success comes with pretty serious pitfalls. You're 5 years in before you really feel like you can breathe and like, okay, we might have actually got it this time. And now you're in your 40s. Okay, great. But you've got a lot of life lessons that you've learned. Now let's say you're Dax Shepard and you're a young actor that hits it big in Hollywood, or a young athlete that hits it big and gets drafted and gets millions of dollars for signing a contract. Now you're 22 You've achieved everything most people dream of. You have no life experience on which to draw from. You're thrust into a world you know nothing about. You don't have the life skills to deal with everything that's coming at you in that world. It overwhelms a lot of people, and that's why you see so many people follow that same trajectory where you've got stupid money so you can do stupid things. You don't have a lot of people are like, who people need around them is guys like the three of us that will say, hey, you shouldn't do that. That's a bad choice. I don't care that you've got a lot of money. I don't care if you're going to be upset with me for saying this. You're making a mistake and I don't want to see you get hurt. So stop, because too many people just want to ride the gravy train and want to be a part of that lifestyle. They'll do anything, including sacrifice their friend or their loved one to do it.
You're going to be surrounded by yes men who want a piece of that pie that you know.
Yeah, I don't know if they have it, but I really wish they did. If they don't, in the league, all the professional leagues, there should be a mentorship program of somebody who's went through that and said, hey, man, I had it all and I'm broke now. Or I lost it all because I made these bad decisions. Because your parent telling you that or your buddy telling you that, you're like, whatever, man, you don't know. But hearing it from somebody who's actually experienced that and finding a real mentor in life who's older and wiser, hopefully that will help a lot of these guys make the right decision instead of buying the Bentley and everything else and not realizing, what about taxes? What about, wait a minute, I thought I had $20 million. No, not anymore.
Not anymore. I think
I know the leagues do a lot of that. From what I can see from the stories I've seen, and again, I was in and around that world for a long time. The biggest challenge is a lot of times you have to cut off people who don't have your best interest in mind, who were there for you while you were coming up. And so, if you were whatever, you had a certain upbringing and there were people in that upbringing that participated in things that aren't the best things in the world, whether it's crime or drugs or truancy or whatever. And now you've made it into a world where those things don't fit and they're not rewarded. You still want to help those people that helped you get to where you're at, but you can't because they're not able to grasp the world that you're living in, and kind of setting boundaries and cutting them off appears to be the hardest part for a lot of these guys. And I don't know the solution to it, but it just seems like, but then you look at a guy like Steph Curry. Steph Curry had really good parents, and he did have the advantage that his dad also played professional basketball. And for a superstar, he's really, really well adjusted to life. And I'm not even a Steph Curry fan. I'm not a Golden State fan. I'm not a Steph Curry fan. But as a human being, he seems like a really quality human being.
I heard him say one time he's got a rule. He doesn't let people, if he starts to struggle with like a remote control or iPhone or something, people want to jump in and be like, Steph, don't worry about that. I'll take care of it. And his rule is nobody helps him unless he turns and says, can you help me? He wants to live a normal life as much as he can. Yeah. I think that helps.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Look, I don't have all the answers, but it's certainly, it feels like doing the things like you're doing with Blessing is like, if everyone collectively does their part, I think we can drag society in a much more positive direction than we've allowed it to be drug over the past, call it 15 to 20 years. And it feels to me like there's a small but vocal group that has an outsized voice that's been allowed to influence things in a negative way. And it feels to me like a lot of people are waking up to that going, nah, we don't have to put up with this stuff. We don't have to live this way. We don't have to tolerate these things. We can make different choices and live different lives. And what I'm doing with my podcast, what you're doing with your app, I think those are the types of things all of us have a responsibility to continue to do to try to help people out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think, I don't think it's maybe even anybody's fault, but remember the old phrase, if it bleeds, it leads, from the newspaper days. I think a lot of social media came to understand that as well. I even heard an influencer yesterday on one of the other apps say, hey, you want an audience? Rage bait people. Yeah, try to suck them into a conversation by saying something outrageous. And And it really, I hated hearing that, but I kind of understood on some level it's true, and that's what the internet's become.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was starting up this podcast, I was kind of spitballing ideas, and a lot of people, like, I'm quick on my feet. It's easy for me to come up with witty remarks and blah blah blah. So it would have been very easy for me to start like a political commentary or one of those things we just talked about. And I'm sure it would have blown up because I'm not afraid to say outrageous stuff. I don't care what a lot of people think about me, all that stuff. I have zero interest in that. Like, for money, you're willing to do that for money? Like, sell out your fellow human beings for a couple of bucks? I don't think so. Like, no thanks.
I don't. Somebody said that the other day. Like, we've begun to view our neighbors as our enemy, and that's a horrible place for us to be as a society.
Yeah.
I really think we need to reverse course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think we're asking everybody to just give up all their other social media platforms. They're there. They're, you know,
They're going
they're
nowhere.
Goliath.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you need a fresh cleanse, you come to Blessing, you check it out, and then you can go back if you feel like it. But, you know, you want to end your night and start your morning on Blessing. You want to have some positive moments in your life. And I hope, you know, we can make a little bit of a change and it starts growing and getting people to start being more positive and not rage bait people.
I love that. Well, I, for one, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to download it when we're done here.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in just kind of following it and seeing what's going on there. So I love that. But one of the things I do on the podcast, so we cover a lot of territory. We have great conversations. You guys are certainly no exception to that. But I always don't want, I was worried about missing a great opportunity or missing a great topic because I didn't bring it up or I didn't ask the right questions. So I open it up and say, is there anything, doesn't matter what it is, that I haven't asked you that you feel strongly about? Or is there a topic that you feel strongly about that you want to talk about in front of the audience while we're here together? So the floor is yours.
Oh, goodness. I mean, I think we really had a wide-ranging conversation. Yeah. You know, I said we've certainly pitched the heck out of our app. I don't think we need to repitch.
Yeah, and told a lot of horror stories about how we got here. Like you said, we're in our 40s. I won't say exactly where, but
yeah, right.
Yeah,
but no, that's the beauty of it, is that's why we're so appreciative of people coming on, because it's not easy for a lot of people to say, hey, guess how bad I screwed this up. And you guys are willing to do it in front of the world. Like anyone can, you know what I mean? Anyone can come find this content. But I think there's so much value in that for people to understand. You may look at someone and say, hey, look at how successful they are. You don't have any idea the path that they traveled to get to where they're at. And that's why I'm so appreciative of guys like you and other folks that have come on the podcast and are so willing to talk about their experiences, especially the ones that were tough. Because like it or not, it's generally the tough experiences that teach us the lessons we need to learn in life and make us the people that we become later in life. And if we're not willing to share those lessons and we're not willing to acknowledge those things, I think we're doing a disservice to the next generations. And I think we have a responsibility to do our part. Like, I had so many people that mentored me and coached me and taught me and were patient with me when I was much younger. I like to think much dumber. I'm still pretty dumb. I like to think I'm smarter now. I don't know if that's true or not, but I like to think it. And they were also good to me. I have a responsibility now that I'm older. And, it's funny. I was in a meeting the other day and someone said they'd been married for 38 years. And I'm like, wow, I don't talk to people very often that have been married longer than me. And that was that's kind of eye-opening. Like, I'm kind of the senior ranking member here. This is kind of wild. And on that one, I wasn't. So, it's just, life sneaks up on you. And,
doesn't it? Yeah. Time flies, man.
Yeah. But it's worth it if you're always kind of pushing towards something that means something to you, which is what we're trying to get people to do. So, look, Gerald, Kevin, loved our conversation. Really appreciate it. We will include a link to download Blessing. And I know that I can see from your banner behind you and the research I did before, doesn't matter what phone you're on, doesn't matter if it's an iPhone, doesn't matter if it's an Android, you can get it on any platform. It is a positive app in a world that's already got plenty of negative options. So I would encourage people, I know some people hear the word faith and they run the other way. Let's open our minds a little bit. We don't have to believe in every single thing that a faith believes in. This is positive content. It's uplifting. It can do good things in your world, in your children's world, in someone else that you care about's world. Let's spread the message and let people get out there and check this out. So really appreciate you guys coming on. We're going to keep track of you and probably hit you up later in the year and just do a touch base, see how things are going with you, and have a follow-up conversation if you're willing to do that with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And for folks that are listening and can't see the banner, Blessin is BLESSN. So download it and time for Christmas.
Yeah. There you go. It's a great call out. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate the time. And have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year with your family.
You as well.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, see you next year.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was awesome. Thank you so much. That was such a great
man, that was fun. I love that. That was fun.
Yeah. Look, for what it's worth, that's by far the number one comment we get. I had so much fun doing your podcast. And that's we try to keep it like, a group of friends sitting around a table talking after a meal. That's exactly the vibe that we're trying to get, because people feel comfortable. They're willing to talk about things that I think are very useful for our audience to hear. And for what it's worth, like on the path you're on, we started with nothing. I mean, nobody knows who Joe Canfield is. I sell groceries in Chicago, but we're approaching 11,000 subscribers now. We're getting tens of thousands of views a week now. And that's all in a year and a half. And yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride, which tells me it's resonating with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what would you attribute that quick growth to? What do you think you're doing different?
So there's two things I attribute it to. One, we're consistent. So I produce 5 episodes a week all the time. I do 3 that are interviews, and then I do 2, which is me covering a topic. Like yesterday, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday are interview episodes, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's just me doing like a 15 to 20 minute video talking about a specific thing. Yesterday, it was radical responsibility. So if you want a better life, accept radical responsibility for your circumstances. Stop blaming external focus. Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming everything and say, I own this now. This is where I'm at. I accept it. I accept the challenge of moving my life in the direction I want, and I'm not going to make excuses anymore. So we've been consistent on that for a year and a half. And then we started like an ad campaign, and we advertise. I only spend $10 an episode. But that $10 an episode gets me tens of thousands of views. And yeah, so I think those are the two things. And then high quality content. Like we don't do any clickbait bullshit. I'm not interested in someone coming on and talking about something controversial. I made the Gavin Newsom joke just because it was a funny joke. It was funny. It was funny. I try not to talk about politics or, we don't like, I've done an episode talking about like abortion and I just did the statistics. Like if you're going to argue about abortion, let's know what we're arguing about. Who is getting an abortion? How many of them happen every year? And like, that was a great example because, you always hear about people talk about, the rape and incest exception. Totally got it. But of the abortions that were recorded in the year 2021, less than 0.5% of those abortions were because of rape or incest. So does it exist? Sure. Is it any major part of the abortions? No, it's not. Conversely, you hear people talk about full-term abortions. Yes, I totally disagree. I think it's a terrible thing, should be outlawed. Less than 1% or 0.5% of abortions were performed past the second trimester. So is it a real problem? Not really. Should we outlaw it? Of course we should, but it's not really. So what's happening is typically over 90% of the abortions were by women older than 20. And over 60% of the abortions were at least the second abortion procedure that a woman had had. So
no kidding.
You've got adult women who are using it as birth control. That's what the facts tell you. Now the question becomes, are we okay with that as a society? Now have the conversations that you want to have. All I'm trying to
Yeah.
do
I have
is
the facts.
focus on the facts. These are the facts
Yeah.
that we're arguing about. That's all I care about. So
Yeah, I feel the same way. A lot of the hot button issues, we talk about only the fringe cases, the
That's
edge
right.
cases.
Mhm.
And I hate that. And we know they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
We know that
Yeah.
they're teeing us up to argue about
Mhm.
the edge case. But the real thing is not typically what we're speaking about.
Yeah, 99.9% of the people are going to take that information and run with it. Nobody's going to actually say, "Let me check those facts. You just said something. Let me check." You know,
Right.
they're going to take whatever you said in your 2-minute, post and be like, "That's what they said, and I believe it." Instead of saying, "Let me check. Let me check. We'll see what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Oh, it's less than 0.5% or less than. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a gun owner, and I don't jump into debates on guns ever, but
Yep.
I do often hear about the gun deaths in America, where they're really coming from, and statistically, it's not the things we're talking about. It's statistically, unfortunately, mainly suicide, and then of course gang activity. That's a majority of it. But we'll scream at each other all day about guns, And I'm not pro or anti-gun. I just happen to own some guns,
Yeah. And that's a great one because like on those controversial topics, what I try to get people to do is start from common ground. So like whenever anyone brings up gun control or they're a staunch Second Amendment supporter, I always try to start with, okay, let's just all be clear. None of us want people to die from gun violence, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter which side of this argument you're on. Our goal here is to end gun violence. Are we all agreed on that? Yes, 100%. Everybody always agrees with that. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Only the psychopaths that want to shoot people, right? And that's a really small percentage of people.
Mhm.
All we're trying to debate is what's the best way to do that. You think it's getting rid of guns. You think it's mental health care and whatever your other arguments are. Okay, got it. Now we can at least have a substantive conversation, knowing we're trying to achieve the same outcome. To your point earlier, my neighbor is not my enemy. We just think the solution is arrived at from a different path. That's it. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I do like it when people drill down into the actual facts. And that I love ChatGPT. I know it's somehow controversial, but I love ChatGPT because you can get some really helpful facts in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm always just interested in trying to understand things. And then whatever, if you have a different opinion than me, totally got it. I can respect that. I want to hear it. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. Maybe I can learn from your point of view or think about things in a way that I've never thought about them before. And I think there's a tremendous amount of value in that. I like to think of myself as a critical thinker. And if you're a critical thinker, I think you have to listen to and absorb differing viewpoints. I'm not saying you have to agree with them. I'm not saying you have to validate them, but you should at least have that information so you can factor it into your thought process and your decision making. And if you do come to a different conclusion, I think the sign of an intelligent person is to change their opinion when presented facts that show your opinion is incorrect. Like, I don't think that's controversial.
Yeah, I love the other day I was talking to a friend who is so far the other direction politically than I am. And I was so proud of him because he started to say something and I corrected him. I was like, well, actually, this is what happened. And I threw out some numbers. And he goes, I'll have to look that up. And he came back a week later and says, you were right about that. You changed my mind. I was like, what?
Yeah.
that never happens. Nobody ever changes their mind. I was like, man, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So, hey, it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Joe, for having us.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. That was a good conversation.
No, thanks for coming on. I absolutely love what you're doing. I'm really glad that we're able to do our little part to help spread your message out in the world and direct people to your app. I'm not joking. I'm absolutely going to go download the app because I want to check it out. And I feel like it's a great thing. I'll let my family know about it too, because I know everybody in my family spends time on social media like most families do. And I think there's a
Yeah.
tremendous amount of value in that. And it's
I think
interesting that you talked about the churches live streaming. My son and daughter-in-law, their church actually already broadcasts their services on the internet. So I'm going to send it to them and see if maybe they're interested in getting in touch with you guys about talking about that. They're in Cincinnati. Yeah, they're in Cincinnati, Ohio. But
awesome.
Oh, okay. And if they have a youth organization and a youth leader, anybody like that, we'd love to get them involved. If they got a trip coming up or they want to do more outreach, Blessing is a great place for that.
Yeah. I think what would be cool. I know you said you don't identify as like necessarily being attached to a certain faith, but you're a mentor to young men, heavily focused on business, it seems like, and at least goals and achieving goals. That's extremely positive. That fits right in with what we're doing. Yeah. So if you even have old clips you want to chop up and throw up there, I think people will love that.
Yeah, I'll talk to. That's a great idea. I'll talk to our producer about it. Because we do. I mean, our focus is entirely on mindset. Now, it's easy to translate that into business, but that mindset matters for relationship. Like, I always tell people, like, you should listen to experts, even if you don't agree with like what they say. So, like Elon Musk is a good example. If Elon Musk is going to talk about business or technology, I'm going to listen. I might agree or not agree. If Elon Musk is going to talk about relationships, I'm going to check out.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
I think I run circles around Elon Musk as it relates to relationships. So.
For sure.
That's funny. You know, the only stock I own is Tesla.
Oh, really?
Well, it's going up. It just keeps
up.
Yeah.
And they're about to IPO SpaceX. I'll be the first in line for that.
Yeah. Look, I get it. The guy's got his idiosyncrasies and etc. And I'm not, an Elon Musk sycophant. However, he has launched and made several companies in emerging technologies wildly successful. I think it's really foolish not to listen to a guy like that. It's foolish.
Yeah.
I think because of our background working with autistic people, I think we recognize him as one of ours.
Yeah. Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Well, cool. Love it, guys. Really appreciate it. I'm, like I said, I'll download the app. I'm going to get it to my son and daughter-in-law as well. And then we'll touch base with you somewhere mid-year, see how things are going and see if we can bring you back on and have another conversation.
Yeah. Sounds good, Joe. Thank you so much, man. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Sounds good.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
Okay, guys, there you go. So, as advertised, loved our conversation with Kevin and Gerald. Really appreciate their candor in talking about how they met and the other businesses that they tried to start up that did not go well for them, what they learned from that, the business that finally did kind of take hold and that they run now that supports them, and then their journey to start this app, Blessin', and just love what they're doing with that. So already plenty of negative things out there, already plenty of negative content out there. We need guys like, and gals, these two happen to be guys, Kevin and Gerald, doing things like Blessin' and making those opportunities and platforms available for people to spread positive content, faith-based or not. And really glad we were able to get that in front of you guys. Really glad we got connected with them. We'll stay in touch with them like we talked about. The link to download the app will be in the show notes. So you can go right down there and download it onto your phone if you go down to that link. So really appreciate them coming on. James puts it up right over here every day. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are available there. Links to all of our social media accounts are available there. We publish a newsletter every weekday you can subscribe to there. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. Super helpful for us if you're able to do that. We're going to keep finding awesome guests like Kevin and Gerald. We're going to keep bringing you content that helps you build the life that you want every day. Actionable items that you can start right now to take control of your life and build the life that you want. You don't want to miss any of that stuff because it's so good for you. Make sure you catch our next episode. We'll see you there.